career to new heights with constructive curiosity. Whether it's career coaching, mental performance training, or business management consulting, Constructive Curiosity has the insight to get it right. Visit constructivecuriosity.com to get started today.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome into another exciting edition of Talking Bengals. We are still down one this week, but it's not the one that has been missing. We have found him. He is still here. He is on time-ish. He's at least here for the start of the episode. It's Bernsey, and also joined by Nick. Bernsey, how are we doing this week?
Fantastic. How about you? How are you?
You can hear him and see him. Is this a miracle?
Oh my.
Real question.
This is what
Bernsey,
happens when I semi-prepare.
The real question is, Bernsey, how does that make you feel?
This is what made me feel that I'm here on time. I'm ahead on my college schoolwork. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now.
I was thinking more along the lines just that you're here, period. I wasn't going to say on time because we're about 30 minutes late because of you. But anyways.
Hey, look.
So, par for the course for you.
We recorded when we started recording, okay? Betting odds are the favorite. I'm probably 5 minutes earlier than I probably would have been.
That's true. Normally you're like an hour late. So, I mean, really you're like 30 minutes early.
I did show up to my own party 3 hours late on graduation.
I feel like this
true story, guys. True story.
Yeah. Right. Maybe we'll do Chappelle Show episodes at the end of this. Like I said, the player haters ball just popped into my head. Yeah. I'm a shoe-in for hater of the year. I'm going to take my place.
Hey, but I still stand with Chappelle. I don't watch the Chappelle Show on Netflix because he doesn't get any money. So
I don't know where I watch it. Anyway.
Watch it at all because anytime you stream it, he doesn't get it. Unless, of course, you've got the DVDs somewhere stashed away. But this isn't 2005, so.
Yeah, I think Chappelle's got a lot of money. We don't get any money for anything. So if I watch the episode of Chappelle's show, sorry, Dave, put me in your comedy show. Actually, put Talking Bengals in your next stand-up special. Bash us really hard if you want to. I don't care. It's publicity. It's fine.
Dave Chappelle's watching this show. We're sorry that you decided to venture this far down in your YouTube rabbit hole.
All I know is this sets a new record for us. We didn't even get on the tracks yet.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it. Just kind of free and easy is the way we go, right?
Yeah. So officially, the official off-season episode here. This shows you how little is happening in in the NFL right now. There's just not a whole lot to talk about. There's a lot of speculation. I mean, we can be like all the other talking heads you see everywhere else. They're just gonna be like, yeah, bro, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. But instead, we're going to bring you some legitimate fun things. We will talk on one speculative topic, but let's jump into it right now. We're going to be spilling the tea because Zach got to name some of the segments tonight. So go ahead and spill the tea, Zach.
Well, apparently we stirred up quite a stir of tea discussing Tee Higgins this week. What we're going to do. Do we sign and trade him to the franchise tag? Do we just tag and hope to extend him later? Do we let him walk and bring in a guy like Justin Jefferson? I'm just saying. I'm not pandering or anything, but I could be onto something. I don't know. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to go on and
Jefferson
take off.
Will never happen.
I'm just going to.
Stop talking, Nicholas.
No,
Justin
you.
Jefferson will never happen. I will mute you. I have that power. Justin Jefferson will not happen. Tag and trade. I wish that's what's going to happen, but that's a very difficult situation to happen. So they're just going to tag him, and then he'll walk after next year. Now you can talk, Nicholas.
I don't know if I want to now.
All right, don't talk. You're muted.
Fine. Okay. Anyways. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is definitely wishful thinking. I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think the more logical conclusion, being more objective, is going to be tagging Tee Higgins with him playing throughout, 2024. And then after the season, walking or depending on how well he does, maybe even signing him depending on what cap space looks like then. But I don't picture us signing him to a long-term deal because of how much it's going to cost.
See, I like signing T. I would love to keep T. I think he's going to want a longer-term deal. I think the franchise tag and making a trade somewhere else makes the most sense, even if it's some draft capital. We also have some other things that we can work out. Again, yes, I'm a realist. I get it. Justin Jefferson's probably out of the question, but that man's holding out. I don't know if he's holding out because he doesn't want it to work out in Minnesota and wants to reunite with the boys. That's my wishful thinking. That's my optimism kicking in. But the realist of me tells me that Justin Jefferson's really not coming here. The other realist of me is that we're not keeping T long term. We're not bringing Tyler Boyd back. But I did watch a segment on ESPN's Get Up this morning, and they were talking about maybe bringing in a guy like Calvin Ridley. Pretty interesting player. Has a lot to play for, you know. I mean, he's got a little gambling problem. We got a nice place at Great American that he could go do that at. But, hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun offseason.
We got the Hard Rock sitting right there. We got Hollywood, Belterra right down the road. I can't Grand Victoria, whatever it's called nowadays.
Turfway is gaming now.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, that's not, Casey. It's not gambling. Those are games of skill, not games of chance.
They have sports betting.
That's how Kentucky, you know, went around that whole gambling part, was that they're games of skill. Okay. Anyways, back away from the devil's lettuce. Okay.
Regardless, my mom placed her first NFL sports bets, whatever you want to call it, at Turfway this year. It's pretty awesome. I still owe her $15.
I still have
because you followed your advice.
Facts. It
So
failed miserably.
here's facts. Here is a fact right here. Do not take our advice on any bets whatsoever, because you're going to lose.
Absolutely not.
That's a disclaimer. You're going to lose if you follow any of our advice. Anyway,
Don't have any crazy insights into anything that are actually going to turn out well. We're just guessing if we give you something. Don't take it as fact. I do think the Calvin Ridley, that's an interesting one. And another interesting thing, it's a leap year. The Bengals always take a day 2 receiver in the last decade, if it's last decade plus, really, if it's a leap year. So 12, 16, 20, all of those, they took a day 2 receiver. So I'm going to bet they're going to take a day 2 receiver this time around too, just because the stars are aligning that way. So, yeah, maybe bringing Calvin Ridley is cheap. What?
Say, fun fact. I know we're going to talk draft down the road, but since we're talking about it, that guy Rice from USC is pretty good. He's a day 2 receiver I'd go get.
Oh, yeah. I like that guy. But as we said, we only do one mock draft a year, and it's not quite there yet.
Yeah, all I'm saying is, if you're going to spill the tea, I definitely would not make a long-term contract based on his performance this past year.
Yeah. Oh man, we're going back. We're gonna do it again. We are literally turning this into a 20-part series on Tee Higgins.
Well,
sorry,
it is the topic. It has been
the hot topic. It's on every national. We're getting national coverage because of Tee Higgins right now. So they're not talking about Joe Burrow. Well, they are, but they're telling him how he's gonna dang, if I could talk tonight, that would be awesome. He's going to unseed Mahomes. I wanted to call him Jackson Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes. And that's really all they're talking about. They're not talking about Jamar. They're not talking about the defense. They're not talking about our coaching staff. They're talking about T and Joe Burrow. That's it.
Because Joe Burrow is going to unseat Patrick Mahomes.
100%.
Once we finally figure out our offensive line and get Pollard, whatever the hell his name is, there's our PG rating. Get him out of there. I mean, we can protect Joe Burrow and actually utilize the weapons on the edges like that we have. I mean, Jamar Chase and Tee Higgins are great weapons. If Tee Higgins can stay healthy and he can have a productive year and not drop half the passes that hit his hands, yeah, Tee Higgins is worth every penny of that $21 million. But he has to prove that he's not going to drop half the passes that hit his hands. I mean, he was dropping, he was dropping balls that easy catches, catches that he had made historically. Good receivers make those catches 90-something% of the time. So, yes, he's human, he makes mistakes, but great receivers don't make those mistakes very often. So I think this year, kind of tag him, make it like a prove it year. And if he proves it this year, then sign him to a longer deal.
Just don't see the money being available to ever sign him to a longer deal. Because if you have those three, it's not like the good old days of the Manning, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, where you could just keep that going. The way the NFL contracts are structured now, if you don't have guys on rookie deals, you're going to have the bank completely broken. You're going to have most of your salary cap, a third of it tied up in 3 players. That's a lot of money to go to 3 guys, especially when T's not really been healthy ever. He's always had some kind of injury nagging. Honestly, Jamar has injuries. Joe has injuries. You're going to have 3 injury-prone guys basically taking up the majority of your salary cap. That's crazy. Absolute craziness. I can't endorse that. I like T. I think he's a good player, but the amount of money he's going to want, and I guess, deserve, if people want to go with that rating, which I think that's thrown around way too much, that they deserve a certain amount of money. Because if you keep playing like you did this year, you went from being a superstar to being a bum, to being a superstar, to being a bum all year. Like Nick was talking about, you catch a great catch, make an unbelievable play, and then you drop one that hits you in the hands or get a pass interference call. So, yeah, I'd tag him this year, bring the band back together one last time, and then that's it.
Make it the run. Make it the run. But you were talking about restructuring contracts. I think our segment tonight is going to be about defensive line. And so I'm going to lead with restructuring Trey Hendrickson's deal to make it a little bit more team friendly. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I've seen that come around a few of the sites that we kind of partner with.
I honestly don't see any way Trey Hendrickson is going to want to give up any of his money. All he has to say is, it's me, and that's it.
No.
You have no other pass rusher on this team. Would I like to win a Super Bowl? Sure, I really would. But I don't know if him taking a pay cut, they'd have to basically say, yeah, we're going to give you an actual partner on the other side of the line who's going to put some pressure on quarterbacks too. That'd be the only way I'd even look at it. But I don't think – what is it? This is last year, isn't it? Last year of his deal?
I can double check, but
yeah, I'd have to look
sure.
that up too.
I think it's the last year of his deal. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to give up anything because after this, it's third contract. And that's when it starts getting real dicey. So I don't think he'll want to sacrifice anything.
I think
so. Spot Track has it 2025 is his last year of his deal.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to give up any of that money. I think that a better option would be maybe drop BJ Hill, drop his cap space. See if you can get a team-friendly deal on Hubbard. Because if we're not going to get another pass rusher to go across from Hendrickson, at least make it friendly on the other side so that way you have Miles Murphy and Sam Hubbard. Maybe do a tag team. But I think that our main focus on the D-line has to be another good interior defensive lineman. Reader, we're going to keep him. He's worth every penny that we give to him. He helps with the run defense. You saw what happened when he gets hurt and comes out. The run defense gets even worse. So I think that getting somebody on the other side of him to balance that line out, I think that makes a huge difference in other teams' blocking schemes and how they have to double team and how they can pull, certain players from other sides. If you get someone like Jones from Kansas City, who's a free agent this year, of course he is going to be pricey, but still, I'd rather spend more money on the D-line than in the defensive backfield because I think you still find young talent and our young talent that we have on rookie deals already. I think that we're already sitting in a decent spot. A lot of people are still looking really high on, DJ Turner and who was it, Dax Hill back there.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're looking at something that's already team-friendly on their rookie deals. So, if you got all this cap space, I would use it more on the D-line and make sure you bring in some, at least one other talent on the offensive line to take over, like Cordell Bolson or something like that.
If we're going to be talking salary restructuring, Sam Hubbard's actually the guy that I'd say if anyone on the defensive line needs to restructure his deal and take a pay cut, it's Sam Hubbard. I know he's a local guy. Everybody loves him, But if you look at his production, it's very
Looking for a great book? Check out Once Left the Field of Valor. When Damien Shaw finds a blood-stained envelope after a battle, he is struck by a series of debilitating flashbacks that threaten to unhinge him. The letter leads him on a grueling journey of penance to present it to its intended recipient. This addicting page-turner is filled with action, suspense, romance, and perseverance. It will keep you on edge to the very end and leave you wanting more. Get your printed edition or ebook today on Amazon.
average. It's not a standout performance week in, week out. He's solid, but he's not a major difference maker. And he's looking at $10 million this year. $10 million. And then the year after that, it's 11.6 million. I don't think he's worth that much money. And you could bring in some major talent by cutting him down to 7,000 or 8,000 a year. I know he wouldn't want to probably go for that, but your dead cap hit is $4 million this year. I think you'd have to look at the fact that you're probably going to be a cap casualty next year because his dead cap hit is $2 million next year. So why not restructure it to where they'll want to keep you for 2 more years? Because I just don't see it. If his production keeps going down like it has been the last couple of years, there is zero chance they're going to want to keep him after this season. When it's only a $2 million cap hit, you're going to save $9.6 million against the cap by cutting him. Even this year, you're going to save a significant amount of money if you cut him. Now, do I think you need to cut him? No, but I think he's definitely the guy you want to go up to and be like, all right, Sam, we like you. We want to keep you, but you got to start playing ball with us and let us bring in some more talent.
I think you're really speaking objective facts right there. And to be quite honest with you, when you're looking at the way his production has came across, 2022, his production was, outstanding, right? 2023, I mean, it was like it just fell off a ledge and just dropped straight down to the bottom. Now, was that because maybe the blocking schemes were a little bit better this year against him, kind of knowing how he would react to different lineups, possibly. But then again, Hendrickson still performed even better this year than he did last year, and last year he still performed well. So I think if you're going to take any look into restructuring any deals, I think that Hubbard on the D line is. I agree with Casey. I think you're exactly right.
So I'm looking over his deal.
I love him. I think he's a great guy, and I think that he does have talent. It's just production-wise.
So looking over his deal, 2024, $7.8 million, 2025, $9 million. That's not including any signings or incentives, bonuses, or anything like that. Cap hit, though. This year would be $10 million. And next year is $11.6 million. So I think the restructuring needs to happen there. I know I said Hendrickson earlier. I think I was talking about Hubbard. So I think that's the contract that needs to be restructured for sure. Even if you have to extend them out a little bit longer. I know, like I was talking about on the Talkin Bengals Facebook page about trying to do the Tom Brady or the Ken Griffey Jr. deal where you just draw out that money as long as you possibly can, make them a Bobby Bonilla kind of situation. But I don't know how we can continuously in this market, in this team. We've seen it with the Reds too, right? How we can just continuously come up with money for one player and pay him for so long, and then we don't have enough money to continue to pay the other players around us. So something's got to give. I get it. Go get yours. But if you restructure the contract and you draw it out over a long period of time, a la Ken Griffey Jr., who hasn't played since 2010, hasn't played for the Reds since 2008, and he was the 9th highest paid player on the Reds roster last year. maybe something you got to consider when coming to the Blackbird / Brown / whoever else is coming into the mix. Duke Tobin. So,
Well, I mean, the thing I do admire about how the Bengals structure deals, they always give themselves an out. They put the majority of the money they have to pay up front. Because even just looking at Hendrickson, so he's 20 mil this year, 18 mil next year. But next year they can walk away from him for 2.6 mil. So, I mean, do you want to walk away from Trey Hendrickson? I would say probably not at this point.
No.
But that's his age 31 season. There could be a massive drop-off from last year to this year. And if there is, you may not want to pay him almost $20 million to continue to decline. So you just got to see. I mean, his whole game is a high motor guy that can beat the offensive tackles. If he loses a step this offseason because he's getting older, I don't think you want to spend that kind of money when you could just cut him for a lot and save a lot.
I mean, I can definitely see what you're saying, Casey. I mean, but the kind of guy that Trey Hendrickson is, I mean, it seems like a workhorse. And someone like that, not only on the field, but off the field, I think brings something more to the table than just what he's making in salary, you know, with what he's making with the money that he's bringing home from that contract. I think that a lot of his real value is that leadership on the defensive line. With, you know, true leadership brings everybody up around you. You know, it's not you know, just saying, hey, let's do this, and then everybody else does it but you. You know, it's him showing you this is how it's done, and hey, this is how I do it. Let's try to get you up with me. You know, and I think Trey Hendrickson's that guy. You know, he's that guy on your defensive line that you want there to show this is how it's done. Let's do it. You know, and he brings everybody up with him. So I think that money is well spent. I don't think restructuring it, like Burnsy was saying at the beginning. I know he said that, you know, might have been thinking more of Hubbard. Of course, all three of us, I think we agree Hubbard would be the restructuring. But I do think that the big cut would be BJ Hill. As much as I hate to say it, but I would cut him because run defense for him is just not there.
So that's what I was going to lead into next. Since our focus group this week is D-line, we talked about the outside, and you kind of touched on BJ Hill. So if we're bringing back DJ Reader, we're restructuring a deal for Hubbard, you know, we're going to write out what we can with Hendrickson and see where things go over the next couple of years. Where is our complementary piece on the inside to DJ Reader?
That's your first round draft pick. That's who you take first round.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Casey, you and I are thinking right on the same line. Having that first round draft pick, I think would be huge. Being a good defensive lineman. And there's plenty out there. Alabama has a great one coming in. I can't remember names. Tennessee has a great defensive tackle coming out into the draft. The SEC, just in general, just awesome. You know, your defensive line in the SEC is top notch, and I mean, you really just can't go wrong with any of them coming out of the SEC right now. I mean, even Texas, who's wanting to get in the SEC, they have a great defensive tackle as well. So
hey, it's 2024; they're already here.
Hey, sidebar, real quick. When are the conferences going to change their names to names that make sense?
Never.
How can you be the Southeastern Conference with people from all over the place in it? How can you be the Pac-12 with people from all over the place in it?
The Pac-12 is now the Pac-2. There's only two teams left.
Well, I mean, but you know what I mean? Like, you have all these conferences now with, like, schools from all over the place, and you're like, just can you change your name to something else? Now all the mid-majors are like, haha, we don't look so dumb with our Sun Belt or, you know, American Athletic Conference because it makes sense. We can be from anywhere. We're not saying with the Southeastern Conference with Oregon one of these days is going to pop in there. Like, that makes no sense. It's well. I digress.
These conferences are getting huge to the point where, like, what's the point of even having conferences? Just have them have their own league, especially with all these NIL deals and all that. Just have them have their own league. You know, forget the whole NCAA thing. Just have them have their own leagues, like the Southeastern Conference League.
You're gonna be putting people out of jobs though. NCAA needs jobs. Important.
Everybody will have jobs. Jobs will still be there. They won't be taking anybody's jobs.
They took our jobs.
Did you guys see? And I don't know if you guys were big college football video game fans growing up, but the new game, we keep getting teaser trailers for it and things like that. I'm pretty excited for it. But did you see that with the NIL deals, the 11,000 players or whatever, the first 85 for every team that's going into it, they're getting $600. $600 for their NIL to be in the EA Sports game.
Big spenders
When
there.
the NCAA and all these schools and all these conferences, they're going to make bukus and millions of dollars, and every player, 11,000 players, are only going to get 600. Do that math for me, Dick. Come on, math whiz.
Sounds like business. All I'm saying is that sounds like how business runs in America. Hey, we're going to shut down all these
6.6 million.
That's it.
That's just paying them on production. That's not paying the crew to put that is actually developing the video game, and then the sales team to actually put it out, and then also paying for the merchandise to be able to write it on the games and write the software to have it to be developed, to be downloaded, virtually, so that way you don't have to actually buy the CD. Also, you have the updates that have to occur to the games. I mean, that right there, you're probably looking at about 15 million right off the bat. They may make, just an initial sales probably, conservatively about 50 million.
Easy. Especially since we haven't had a game since 2013. So many people
how many bugs are
anticipating this.
How many bugs are going to be in? How many bugs are they going to have? With making sure that everything is top notch. It's the same problem that Call of Duty has. Because they're trying to make everything so top notch and so realistic that, if you don't have the highest graphic card that they can make, which still isn't even good enough, even on computers, to be able to run the game system on an online gaming platform, you're still having so much lag, and you have the lag spikes and everything. You're still going to run into problems. And they run into those problems on Madden as well. I mean, you get dev errors and everything else. So
I really hope it doesn't turn into Madden. I really don't. I quit playing Madden about, I think the last year Tom Brady was on the cover. I picked it up, tried it out, and I was like, this is dumb. This is lame. I don't like it.
too many controls.
So,
I don't know. I've
Too many
had video
different
game for a
controls.
really long time, so.
you're out there writing books and being, Mr. Impressive and things like that. Let us kids talk about, kid things. Okay.
Yeah. All right, children.
Sidebar
Sidebar
grew
over.
up.
All right, sidebar over. Let's get back to the defensive line, right? So you guys both talked about the going to the draft. So the number one big board, ranked 10, is the interior lineman Newton from Illinois. Number two, in Leonard Taylor III from Miami, Florida. Big board, ranked 33. Byron Murphy II from Texas. Big board, ranked number 44.
That's the guy I was talking about, Byron Murphy from Texas.
Okay.
That's who I want.
Chris Jenkins, the fourth interior lineman from Michigan. And the number 5, Brandon Dorless from Oregon. Now, that is a guy I would go spend money on. That dude's a beast.
I was going to say either the guy from Texas or the guy from Michigan. They had really high production years. I mean, they were very talented, showed a lot of promise. So a lot of high motor, high activity, and also just brute strength. I don't know what it looks like in the weight room for them, but I know on the football field, they're showing a lot of brute strength. So they were very interesting to watch in college football, and I can't wait to watch them in the pros, to be honest.
I mean, I think you got to draft at least 2 defensive linemen this year, because if you look at who else has filled out the Bengals roster last year, let's take a quick look here. Cam Sample, Miles Murphy, Josh Tupou, Jay Tefele, Zach Carter, practice squad guy, Joseph Osai, and Jeff Gunter.
Wait, what was that name again? What was that second to last name you said?
Joseph Osai. Is he a real person?
I haven't seen
I've
him
heard
in
of his
2
name.
seasons, so I haven't seen him since the AFC Championship game.
So out of all those players, I think one of them has a possibility of a legit future, and that's Miles Murphy. I think Osai, I mean, what is this, year 4? Are you just going to magically decide you know how to play football in year 4? I doubt it. Camp Sample is like, I'm just glad to be here, guys. Thank you for letting me be here. And the other people, Zach Carter, Josh and Jay, are they even real football players? Or are they just like, I guess we're here, we're warm bodies? Still better than I ever played football. I'm just saying, though.
Just like Casey, they're like the NFL version of you and I.
Hey,
We're here. We got the participation trophy. We got the patches on the Letterman. Him did good. That's what our bullets say.
we're just happy to be here. We're on the Pine Club. We'll just hang out over here. Yeah, so they got to draft some defensive linemen. It has to happen. Or it's going to be a bad year.
And the Bengals historically have drafted fairly decent on the defensive line. So, I mean, Geno Atkins, DJ Reader, great picks.
DJ Reader was not a draft pick.
Whatever. We brought him in. It was a good decision.
As long as it's not an offensive tackle.
He did phenomenal for the Texans when he got drafted by them. And then I told Tim the same thing. I was like, dude, that's a great pickup for the Bengals. So, and I was super excited that it worked out. And I think he needs to come back. Like, pay him what you can, obviously within the constraints of everybody else getting there, you know, in the next couple of seasons. But pay him, bring him back, and see what happens.
I mean, thinking about like the whole paying thing, I'm going to kind of go off the rails for a second. I think that it's kind of wishful thinking, but if everybody took a team-friendly deal to bring on a championship caliber players to all play together, right? To start, like, I don't know, build a dynasty maybe. I don't know, something maybe like what the Patriots did where everybody took team-friendly deals and nobody got an astronomical amount of money. And they won how many championships? I mean, of course, it's wishful thinking, but if everybody did that, right, you would be legends.
Yeah.
Not only legends in Cincinnati, but you would be national legends, national sports icons for decades.
No complaints here. I just want to get to 1.
I mean, to prove Nick's point, Rob Gronkowski, if he's on any other team, would you be seeing him on TV right now? Nope. But the fact that he was around for so long, they won so many Super Bowls, his personality got put on display. Tight ends is a big one because Travis Kelce is going to be the same way. We're going to be stuck dealing with him for the next 20 years because you played on a team that mattered. But if you put him on the Arizona Cardinals, the Carolina Panthers, does anybody know who that guy is?
While we're on the topic of people that did really well on successful teams and then just kind of fell off the face of the earth, Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
Super successful, was in Philly, went to the Cardinals, and what happened? We didn't really hear from him, right? So
Uzama went to the Jets. Got his payday.
Yeah.
Fell through the cracks because he just wasn't performing.
Well, his quarterback was also Zach Wilson.
Zach Taylor.
Might as well have been. They played about the same.
He'll take your mom somewhere, so watch out now. Oh, we digress. All right, so moving into Who Dey History. Zach, take us away with your Who Dey History.
Right, so I picked this one specifically because of recent news, and I'll get to that here in just a minute. But I'm going to let you guys open it up and talk about your fun facts and fond memories of Neil O'Donnell. Casey, go ahead.
I'll take it first. Okay. So Neil O'Donnell, 1 season as a Bengal. Not really a memorable season. It wasn't great, but I'm going to go ahead and pitch our petition right here because he had one of the most epic moments in Bengals history where he did a fake spike against the Steelers and threw a touchdown pass to Carl Pickens, who absolutely just embarrassed the defensive back 3 times on that drive. to the point where the guy probably got cut after the game. It was just that bad. So once again, if you don't know about our petition, we want Carl Pickens to get recognized by getting Dan Horde and Dave Lapham to call pylon fades the Pickens play. So go to our website, or not website really, because it's still in the works. It's under construction. Please pardon our progress. But go to the Facebook page, Twitter, beacons, all that fun stuff. You can find it. It's tagged at the top. Click it, sign it, make your voice heard, be part of this movement. Carl Pickens was a fantastic Bengal. Yes, he left in a grumpy way, but if you were on a team that ruined most of your good years of your career, you'd probably be a little bit bitter too. So really, Neil O'Donnell, thanks for the one great play. Otherwise, you sucked for the Bengals overall. There sucks, though. It wasn't just you, Neil. It's not your fault. They were not good that year. A lot of expectations, not a lot of follow through. Anyways, Nick, go ahead.
I mean, of course, he didn't do very well with us. I mean, not really anything really memorable except for that one pass play to Carl Pickens, and then, being cut at the end of the year so Achilles Smith could come in. Oh man, what a bust that was. Man, what a bust that was. Guy couldn't even see over the line like Jeff Blake. God, that was so awful. What a bad time to be a Bengals fan at that
I just got to say one thing real quick. How bad do you feel about yourself if you're Neil O'Donnell and you got cut for Achilles freaking Smith? Like, that has to be like the all-time low moment in your life.
Didn't he get a one? Didn't he get a one on the Wonderlic?
What? Achilles Smith?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I think his Wonderlic score was one of the worst ever. I think him and Jamarcus Russell.
Anyways, back to my Neil O'Donnell. So I mean, he did sign with the Titans. Ends up coming in as a third stringer, playing for Steve McNair when he got hurt in '99. And then later on, led them to playoff victory where they went into the AFC Championship and then proceeded to the Super Bowl. Of course, he didn't play in the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl because McNair played there, but and then he did get brought back in December of 2003 when McNair and his backup got hurt, so that way he could play that final game. But I mean, overall, I wouldn't say he was one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play NFL, but he definitely was not one of our best quarterbacks that's ever played for the Bengals. I mean, when Achilles Smith and Jeff Blake both outperform you in Cincinnati, I think that there's a reason why where in the world is Carmen Sandiego was played for Neil O'Donnell.
Well, Neil O'Donnell, one thing for him, I'll give him credit. He did make a Super Bowl appearance with the Steelers and lost.
Threw 3 picks. That was going to be part of my highlight. So he goes from throwing 3 picks in the Super Bowl with the Steelers, comes to Cincinnati, has a mediocre year at best, right? Okay. Retires in 2003. Guess what this man is doing now? Hence why I led with where in the world is Carmen Sandiego Bengals edition? Neil O'Donnell works for Field Turf. Why is Field Turf important? That is the deal the Bengals just cut to bring back into Paycor Stadium. I want to call it PBS still. So bringing it back. So he's still in the Kentucky and Tennessee region. From the little bit of research I did today, and yeah. So with that,
so we're bringing back.
That is why I went with Neil O'Donnell. What's that?
We're bringing back real grass to Paycor.
It's Field Turf. It's still turf, but it's more grass than it was before. It's the same company that we used to have from 2004 to 2011, and then we went to this AstroTurf garbage that has been tearing Achilles and ACLs and all that other stuff. We're joining 8 other teams going to this Field Turf as well, per the news report. I think the Falcons, the MetLife, and like 6 other teams are jumping on the bandwagon and going to Field Turf. So Neil O'Donnell is one of the head honchos over there. So kind of played into that. So
Did spend enough time on the turf, so he should know better.
That he did. That old line at that time. Woof.
Well, before Zach jumps into his next one, you got to pay Achilles Smith a little bit more respect. 26th on the Wonderlic.
My bad. He ain't watching this either, so who cares?
He's our guest next week. Oh, wait, no, he's not.
Oh, wait.
We'll take you on the show, Achilles. It's fine. You can come to.
No, absolutely. You can make fun of me. We can take the same test, and I'm probably going to score 10 times worse than you.
Zach got a 0 on the ASVAB, so that's what it is.
That's true. I am in an alpha category on the ASVAB. So, but not by much.
Alpha's bad on the ASVAB for anybody who doesn't know.
What did you say?
Alpha's like below intelligence on the ASVAB. So everybody who doesn't know.
Alpha's the high category.
Good Lord, children. Once again, let's bring it off.
Hey, no. This is party time. Let's look at your script. It's party time. This is our time. We do whatever we want.
We do whatever we want.
I don't have party time on my script.
All right. So what I'm going to say here, I'm looking at the lowest Wonderlic scores, and I guess this came before Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson was not good on it either. But if you guys can tell me, if you can name 4 of these like 6 guys on this list I'm looking at for the lowest scores ever, I'm going to be impressed. All quarterbacks, except for I don't know who this one guy is.
Jamarcus Russell.
Guy?
No, he wasn't on this list right now.
Jamarcus Russell, was it?
No.
Really?
I think this is people that you wouldn't expect other than one of them. And that's why they're on here for being low for quarterbacks. So I was going to say low for quarterbacks other than Jamarcus Russell.
Jameis Winston.
No, he's actually a 27.
Okay. Ryan Leaf.
I don't see him on here, but he didn't score that bad.
Okay.
Think Hall of Famers.
Hall of Fame? Eli?
Think Hall of Famers.
Is Eli a Hall of Fame?
Older Hall of Famer.
Terry Bradshaw.
Yes, Terry Bradshaw. 15.
Nick's looking it up. He's cheating.
No, I'll share my screen. Hold on a second.
Right.
I'll share my screen.
So think similar to that era.
Okay.
A couple others.
Is Boomer on there?
No, Boomer scored pretty well.
Okay.
But someone Boomer beat in an AFC Championship game.
Ooh.
Troy Aikman.
That wasn't AFC. Who's the Chargers quarterback?
Nope, he didn't beat the Chargers in the AFC title. He beat the team that lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
Oh, really? Phil Simms.
Jim Kelly.
Oh, Jim Kelly.
Giants.
Then
the other one was
what I'm talking about. Why do you even have me on this show? I don't know anything.
I don't know either. The other one was a movie star, played with, the legendary Ace Ventura.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, Dan the Man Marino got a 15. Donovan McNabb also got a 15. But Vince Young got a 7.
Doesn't surprise me. He went to Texas.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who peaked in college. Just did not have any kind of NFL career worth mentioning. But I mean, obviously the Wonderlic
Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn, any of those guys in that era, kind of just.
Well, Brady Quinn he's probably really mad that they didn't have the NIL system when he was in college, because all the crap that he's great, he's going to be a great quarterback, and he's getting all this publicity. He'd have probably made a crap ton of money, and he was a terrible NFL quarterback.
Honestly, I don't
Lamar
think
Jackson was a 13.
The draft in that 06, 07 time frame with the Browns, they weren't that good. And then when he came in, Derek Anderson took off. He's like, oh, I better compete for my job so this kid doesn't take my job. And then he got hurt, and Brady comes in, and that whole scheme was awful. So I don't know. Then he didn't do anything to Denver either because he didn't get the opportunity. Because then we had this guy named Tim Tebow.
Well, I said, so Lamar Jackson was the 13 on the Wonderlic. I don't know why we care so much about that tonight. But hey, we're just filling time here.
It's just
So
you.
he was a
I think
13.
you're the only one that cares.
Why not? What else? You said it's party time, so I'm just going with.
Well,
which
I'm talking
quarterback
about
does
him
the work?
specifically.
Oh. Jamarcus Russell was actually a 24.
Wow.
So
Why did I
Lamar
think
is
he
what?
went so much lower? Did he take it twice? I feel like he took it twice.
He got a retest, so the Raiders didn't look so dumb for taking him in the
30-day
draft.
retest like the ASVAB.
I guess we can go with that.
Well, we've got 13 minutes left to record. We've got
Apparently
final
it's what's
thoughts
up.
and Who Dey outro left. So, do we keep partying, or do you guys
keep
want to talk
partying.
about final thoughts?
Let's keep partying.
All right. What are we partying to?
Casey, I don't think you came up with a topic yet.
Oh, all right. Cool. I'll come up with a topic here. Okay, so one of these three bands has to go. Never get to listen to their music again. So we're going Blink 182. We're going emo edition. Emo / pop, like pop rock.
Okay.
Blink 182, My Chemical Romance, and Sublime. So we're going to mix all kinds of weird stuff in there. Pick one of those three. So 90s reggae rock, emo rock, and pop rock. Pick one of those three has to go. Never listen to them again.
My Chemical Romance is gone.
MCR. Bye, Felicia.
Not even,
Easy.
Okay, so they're going. I got to add another one in to make it more challenging.
That wasn't even hard. That wasn't even a thought. The second you said it, I wanted to say no.
Okay, fine. I'll add an even harder one then. Let's see. So we're going to keep those two. So I got Sublime and Blink 182. Let's see. Who'd be a fun one to throw on there and just mix this all up into an even more weirdness to see.
I have a better one. Classic
Jam.
rock.
I was going to say Pearl Jam on that one. So now make it harder. Sublime, Pearl Jam, and Blink 182.
Buy Sublime.
Yeah, I'd go Sublime as well.
Ooh, nope, I'm going to disagree.
You're going to go Pearl Jam?
Kicking me to the curb. Yeah, I'm kicking Pearl Jam to the curb.
Bro, you're crazy. Eddie Vedder? That man is a genius.
You can say I'm crazy all you want, but I like the reggae rock. I like Sublime. I can't get rid of Sublime.
I got an even better one. All right, let's go more classic. All right.
Okay.
Eagles, Queen, and I'm trying to think of a good one to bring on.
You said
The
Eagles?
Beatles.
So
Eagles.
Beatles, Eagles, and
Queen.
And Queen. Ooh. See, that would be a hard one for me.
You know the obvious answer for me.
You would
Eagles.
say the Beatles.
I will
We don't
flush
like
the Beatles out of the
or
corner.
whatever. I think they're overrated.
Beatles suck.
Without the
Beatles
Beatles, we don't have the rock music that we had for the 60s and 70s. And you can't tell me anything different.
You know, to each their own. I'd still say the Beatles are the worst.
Beatles and Queen stay. Freddie Mercury, one of the best vocal talents I've ever heard.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I mean, just
All right.
phenomenal.
We're going to go. Well, let's take this back to the sports side of things. Okay.
Okay.
You got to put this band player into the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay. Or a player that's probably not going to ever do it. Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, Shoeless Joe Jackson. Who you putting in?
No
You can only
doubt.
pick one.
Best hitter to ever play the game, Pete Rose. Mr.
Disgusting.
Hustle.
Oh, man. You're cutting me deep. Those are two guys I'd go to bat for. Barry Bonds can kiss my rear end. But the other two I would go to bat for all day long. Shoeless Joe, fantastic player, a legend, would have been a Hall of Famer easily. And honestly, it was not, he got mixed up in that bad Blackhawks Sox scandal, but otherwise he was a stand-up guy. Pete Rose, Not a good human being. I will put that out there. But there's a lot of not good human beings that are in Cooperstown. There's plenty of them. So if you want to talk about as a player, on-field talent, playing the game the way the game should be played, how do you not have Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame? Don't mention he was ever a manager. Don't mention any of that crap if you don't want to. That's fine.
Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com.
Pete Rose, the manager. I want Pete Rose, the player.
Exactly. But I mean, if you look at those, both of them have Hall of Fame resumes, and they didn't actually. It's hard to say Shoeless Joe cheated because he had the best series of anybody in that World Series. He literally played better than anybody else in the World Series. So it's hard to say he really cheated. And Pete Rose, he bet on his team to win. There's literally people doing that right now and not getting in trouble for it. So what does it matter? So a lot of people hate Pete Rose. Oh, he's a slimy scumbag. Well, yeah, Babe Ruth's a slimy scumbag if you look at what he did in his personal life. And he is one of the greatest players in the history of the game. But he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He'd love to do not nice things with lots of people. It is what it is. You're not judging them based on their personal life. If it was, no one would make the Hall of Fame. You're one of those people with all that kind of money. You're probably not having the best track record. Anyways, I know I'm just stalling. So Pete Rose is who I'd pick at this point.
Pete Rose will be in the Hall of Fame after he dies.
Didn't work for Shoeless.
All right. I respect both of your guys' decisions. But I'm going, if you're going to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, you might as well put the one that got in trouble for bad things in first. Well, I'm
always just telling you you're wrong because you're cutting out.
What?
You're cutting out really bad. The universe is saying you're wrong.
Gosh.
I'm just.
How am I now? Yeah.
Better.
How about now? Am I good?
This goes in with that AT&T shortage today.
Oh my gosh.
Got that solar flare. How about it?
Hey, am I good? Can you hear me? Am I still cutting out?
You're not great. I'll be honest with you. You're not great right now.
Right. Well, I'm going Joe Jackson. If you're going to put Pete in, you got to put in Joe first.
I can go with that.
Fair enough.
I mean, as long as you don't say, I lost baseball. I love the game of baseball. I love the Bengals, but I mean, I'm a bigger Bengals fan than I am a Reds fan, but I'm a bigger baseball fan than I am a football fan. I've said that plenty of times. I'll put that out there quite honestly. Major League Baseball has lost me as a fan almost completely, other than the Reds, because people throwing fits. Oh, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens. It's a crock that they're not in the Hall of Fame. No, you legitimately cheated. You legitimately boosted your stats, almost got the Giants a World Series on the back of a steroid jacked Barry Bonds. Roger Clemens, I mean, the thing I always got me too is like,
won a World Series, multiple.
Yeah. And then, the fact he's like, I'm not on steroids. And he was like, made his final comeback in like his late 40s, and he's throwing harder than kids that are like 25. That doesn't happen. Nolan Ryan, even his arm slowed down. By the end of his career, he wasn't bringing it over 100. It was, mid 90s. A few pitches here and there were high 90s. Yeah, Roger Clemens is like throwing faster than he ever threw in his late 40s. You cheated. You cheated and you lied. So you messed up the outcome
in front of Congress.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But apparently in this day and age, you can lie to Congress's face and not have any charges. But that's a different
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair prices. Tell us Talkin Bengals sent you and get 5% off all services. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
It's not a political show. We're not going to go down those roads.
All I'm saying is baseball has lost me almost completely as a fan of the major leagues, other than the Reds. And I mean, I know this is a football thing, but we're on whatever hour here because it's off season. Rob Manfred is the biggest piece of garbage to ever come into Major League Baseball. Oakland Athletics fans, I feel for you. The fact that his comments that are moving to Vegas and well, what are you going to do for the fans in Oakland? Well, hey, there's a team on the other side of the bridge. They can just go watch the Giants. Yes, because that'd be like telling Bengals fans, hey, there's a team in Cleveland. Go cheer for the Browns. Like
That's Phil Castellini comments right there. Where else you gonna go?
Yeah.
Bro, what? For real? What? Get out of here.
By the way,
Okay,
just
so
for anybody who wanted to know, Burnsy is actually wearing a Cincinnati Reds hat. It's just a St. Patrick's Day hat. Just wanted to clear that up. I know everybody's wondering.
He thought it was a Notre Dame hat, guys. Okay, he freaked out. He
Okay,
didn't realize
didn't have
this
the
was
glasses
Major League
on.
Baseball.
Didn't have the glasses on. Of course, I didn't see it. Okay, leave me alone.
Okay, all right.
What I'm going to say, probably for one of the last topics we go into here, is Phil Castellini not the luckiest human being on the planet? One, your dad's just rich and you get to be around a Major League Baseball team. But two, you make those dumb, horrific comments, and then the very next year, your team saves your butt. Because
Really, though.
everything plummeted. The year he said that, worst ratings, worst attendance, worst everything. Like they were on the – if that would have continued for 2 or 3 more years, they'd have to sell the team. And then luckily, your team starts winning ball games, and people are excited about him again. So, I mean, he just better be somewhere like, oh, my gosh, thank goodness that worked out. Of course he wouldn't because he has no self-awareness. He's probably like, I got all those guys. Phil, dude, got this. Yeah.
If he had all those guys, he would have brought Joey Votto back for one more year.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. What's a
At
1 year, $5 million contract? Hell,
At
even
worst,
$7
a
million
player
that you
manager.
spent to buy him out. You spent $7 million to let him go. Why not
All right,
give him the $7 million to bring him back?
We're gonna make. I got one last fun sports related question here. Okay, you could bring one Reds player back in their prime for 1 year. Votto, and I'm gonna keep it modern era. So the guys that have at least played since 2000. Votto, but they had to. Sorry, last stipulation had to be in a Reds uniform. You can't say any other previous time. Votto, Jr., or Larkin.
So since the season of 2000
Yep.
to now, in their prime.
Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Because-
While they were in their prime in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Griffey's
I guess
years in
Larkin's a hard
Cincinnati
one.
were
Sorry,
hindered
Larkin.
very, very
Yeah,
much.
quick stipulation. Larkin played in the 2000s, but we're going to say 95 and on for him because that was his MVP year.
So, peak Larkin in the 90s, 2000s Ken Griffey Jr., and then modern era Joey Votto.
Yeah, we'll say 17.
2010,
2017.
since that's the year everybody likes to reference, since that was
Yeah.
quote unquote his only MVP year when he should have had 3. But
Well, like I said, you could do 10 or
For Cincinnati.
17, either one you want to do. Those were both, in my opinion, MVP caliber years.
I would go, man. I'm partial. I love Junior, but his years in Cincinnati, he was hurt a lot. So I gonna have to cut that one. 95 Larkin and late 90s Larkin. He was a surefire, man. Like that dude
He was
just got
clutch.
on base, you know. But I'm going Votto. I don't think I could ever not go Votto. I'd even take Votto over prime Pete Rose. Yeah, I said it.
Right,
Zach's not
it's after
welcome
the
back
recording.
next week. All right, Nick, what's your pick there?
I'm picking Barry Larkin in that time frame. You have Mr. Clutch. I mean, the guy had a surefire bat. He was an all-star in and of his rights. Now, if you get Junior in his heyday, those few years before he came to Cincy, I'd pick Junior all day long. Sweetest swing in baseball.
6 to 99.
Dude, his swing so beautiful. I mean, he was the reason why everybody wore their hats backwards. I mean,
That's why I'm doing it right now.
Exactly. So, I mean, Junior Junior, my favorite baseball player of all time, but
Yes.
I have to go with Barry Larkin for his consistency while he was in a Reds uniform.
I know Zach probably thinks I'm going to rank this guy last, but I actually would put Votto second on the list. And the only reason why I'd put him second is because Larkin's glove was far better than Votto's ever was. And on the turf he played on in the mid-90s, he was the best shortstop in baseball. And if anybody says otherwise, they're wrong. He was the best shortstop in baseball. And he was very versatile. 2010 Votto versus 95 Larkin. The only edge Larkin's really going to take is the better all-around player. Votto is the better hitter. I'll put that out there. He's a much better hitter. But when it comes to defense, Larkin made up how many outs just by diving plays, great throws, and very consistent hitter.
Heck of an athlete.
And you could bat him anywhere in the batting order, and he'd still be productive. You can bat him leadoff one day, you can bat him fourth the next day, and he's still going to give you a great performance. So, I mean, that's – unfortunately, there wasn't as many great Reds players. I was trying to think of a couple more great ones that you could go into in that time period, but that was basically Votto, Larkin, and Junior would be the only three elite players. You had a lot of B-plus players, a lot of B-plus, but those are
I'd give Adam Dunn an A-. You know, he's the only one that consistently hit 40 home runs for a long time. But downside is that he was striking out almost 100 times in a season. I mean, that's
popping out a lot.
nothing nowadays. That's nothing nowadays. But like in that time, in that era, that was a big deal. Like if you're striking out 100 times, there's a problem.
I have a real question for you. Here's a real conundrum: Griffey Jr. in his heyday or Tony Gwynn?
Ooh,
that's a good one. Tony Gwynn, he had heck of an eye for the baseball and great at the plate. But I take Junior all day long because he can play in the outfield and just cover the entire field.
Well, see, I wouldn't say apples to oranges 100% there, but it's kind of looking at, are you talking about who's the better hitter or who's the better baseball player?
Right.
I'm thinking all around.
All around Griffey.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're talking best hitter, and I'm a Pete Rose fan, a real big supporter, Tony Gwynn's the best pure eye. Him and Ted Williams were the best pure hitters to ever play the game. I mean, I literally modeled my hitting off of Tony Gwynn. Not that I was great at hitting. I'm not going to say I was, but I wish I was Tony Gwynn.
Wasn't.
His approach, just throw the knob at the ball, focus at people. That's who I wanted to be like because he just was a star. And Greg Maddux couldn't get him out. So many other pitchers couldn't strike him out. I think he had how many seasons with less than 10 strikeouts? Like, it's unbelievable.
That's just a ridiculous stat. Like, the stats that Tony Gwynn put up with the amount of times that, like, I think his entire career he struck out less than most players strike out in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Junior better.
I think his career's like what? It's like 150 career strikeouts or something like that.
The internet knows all.
I was gonna say it's super low.
Let's see. Career strikeouts, 425 strikeouts in 9,186 at-bats, 10,000 plate appearances.
So
1,000 plate appearances, you only struck out 400 times.
Casey, how many strikeouts?
425.
All right, now go look at Adam Dunn's strikeouts.
Only
Do we really want to do
4.25%.
Yeah, I want to go see big donkeys.
4.25% of the time Tony Gwynn struck out.
That's crazy. All right, Adam Dunn strikeouts. Let's go for it because we want to torture ourselves as Reds fans here.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
I don't have any time left on this recording, but we're doing it anyway.
There are no time limits. Actually, I think it's just because it said it was a 90-minute meeting. We paid for the premium package. We can do what we want. Let's see. Adam Dunn career strikeouts. Holy God, that can't be right. I don't even want 2,379.
How many plate appearances?
Oh, good God. 8,328.
Now, and then he hit what
28.56
400 home runs. He got close to 400, right? He was like 376,
See, it's home 462 home runs.
462.
Zach,
Yeah,
he
you're
struck
talking
out
460.
more than 25% of the time.
So you're going 0.425. Like,
And in this
4%.
generation of ball players, that dude's gonna be considered a Hall of Famer.
Probably.
Compare him to some of the players in this generation. Take out Mike Trout, take out Bryce Harper, take out Joey Votto, and you put him with the league's best, and that man's a Hall of Famer. He'd be making $600 million right now.
Because he hits
Well, you
some
do
mid
know who
balls
has the
every once
most
in a
career
while.
strikeouts as a batter, right? I don't know. I'm looking it up real quick.
I don't know off the top of my head.
His name was Casey.
No, his name's
Apparently,
probably Bernsey.
according to Baseball Reference, Reggie Jackson, 25.97. Jim Tomei, 25.48. Then Adam Dunn, Sammy Sosa, Alex Rodriguez.
Sammy
all
Sosa
of
hasn't
these
played since
guys.
like 07.
Yeah. So all of these guys, and let's see, how many are Hall of Famers? Reggie Jackson's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Jim Tomei, did he just make it recently?
Yeah, he made it in the last decade.
Yeah, and then Alex Rodriguez, Miguel Cabrera. Like all these guys have over 2,000 strikeouts. Tony Perez almost had 2,000. He had 16 or 1867.
How many games did he play?
Sorry, I kind of laugh at this one. This guy didn't even have a very long career. Chris Davis.
Oh my!
Guess
He
how
played
many-
what? 5 seasons?
Oh, I gotta pull him up now. We gotta get off here in a minute because we're just rambling on. But Chris Davis, 1,852 strikeouts. He had more than Ryan Howard and almost as many as Tony Perez. Guys who had decade-long careers, like decade-plus long careers. And his career was, because I just got to look it up now because this is crazy.
You're still with us. God bless you.
If you're still with us, please tag us on Facebook and stop talking about baseball and football podcast.
This is a football podcast.
We will shout you out on next week's episode if you're still with us.
Hashtag football podcast.
Hey, this is the worst week of the off season. There is literally nothing. It's all speculation. I've watched and tried to find stuff. The only other thing we didn't talk about was Joe Mixon calling people clowning. But since every other podcast is talking about that, I don't feel like going into that. Yeah. So his career is from 2008 to 2020. I didn't realize it was that long for Chris Davis.
How many times did he go to the minors? And is that counting his minor league time?
No, so that's 14. He played 1,400 games as a pro, like a major league pro.
Jeez.
So 1,400 games, almost 5,000 bats, 49.78, and you struck out 1,852. That's bad, bro. Nick, do your basic
10,
math.
Right?
What's that?
That was top 10?
No, it was just outside of the top 10, but it's because he had so few at bats.
All right, 1852, and then how many at bats did he have?
49.78.
Good God.
37.2% of the time.
Yeah, that's not good, friends.
How many home runs did he end up with?
295. Oh, Lord. Okay. We're moving to final thoughts before we just start talking about baseball for the next 3 hours, and we have 0 followers at that point, except for baseball fans. So, Zach, what are your final thoughts?
Maybe we needed to go into venturing into baseball. I mean, we got business propositions out there. Maybe we need to go that route. I don't know. I don't know. Ponder it.
Nick, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, thank God this podcast is about to end because God bless you if you're watching still.
Final thoughts are, I don't really know. We're rambling at this point. I can't say the thing I want to say because this is not a PG-13 or R-rated thing, but something is a heck of a drug if you watch Chappelle's show. I'm just saying. So don't try it at home. Have fun. Be careful. Check us out on YouTube at Talking. Hold on, Zach, give me correct here. Talking_Bengals on YouTube, or just Talking? Yeah, Talking_Bengals YouTube and Instagram. At Talking Bengals on Facebook and X, or just go to Beacons because it's a lot easier there. Somebody took Talking Bengals from us on YouTube and Instagram first. We're trying to fist fight them, but they're not showing up. So one of these days we'll get the rights to all of it.
I was just say, I think that gives us the right to the account.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you for listening. Check us out, like, subscribe, share, and you can enjoy more random off-season rants like this. Who Dey?
Okay.
Hooray.